To have done that because she was there at her best and she had to take it as a put down. I'm sure she did.
But despite Cukor's absence, Marilyn's performance convinced everyone that she was in top form.
And I was so happy because they were brilliant. I mean, she looked extraordinary. She was at her best.
Weinstein couldn't wait to share his enthusiasm with the star herself. But when Marilyn was several hours late for their scheduled meeting, the producer raced over to her home in nearby Brentwood.
When I come there and she's spread across her bed, practically nude and really out. So I called Romy up, and then we called her internist, and they came running over. And this was the first time, and I knew we were in trouble.
Weinstein was shocked at the sight of Marilyn Monroe, unconscious from an apparent overdose of sleeping pills.
And I went to the studio and I said, listen, we gotta postpone this picture. I don't think she's gonna be ready. We're gonna start shooting in about 3 weeks. And said, what happened? She said, oh, no, you're being melodramatic. I said, I tell you, the girl is not able to do this yet. I said, if I came and told you she just had a heart attack, what would you do? She said, well, we would wait. I said, what's the difference? He says, she had a heart attack, we couldn't get insurance. With this, we can.
They felt that she was in somewhat out of control, but still very bankable movie star. And whatever personal problems she had, it was felt could be dealt with.
Marilyn's habit of mixing champagne with sleeping pills was well known in Hollywood, and this latest incident rang few warning bells.
The first time I actually got to the house, she had some champagne and she'd taken a couple of sleeping pills she had, and Dr. Greenson became worried, and so she gave me a key to her apartment, and I carried it all the time so I could get in, if I had to, quickly. When she moved out to the Helenas in Brentwood, we had a key to the house in a fuchsia plant that was hanging in front of the front door.
We know now. We know things that we didn't know then. I mean, that's just deadly.
Marilyn had grown dependent on sleeping pills during her rise to fame in Hollywood. She was plagued by insomnia and for the past 2 years sought almost daily psychological treatment from Dr. Greenson to ease her emotional pain.
We knew that she was a manic depressive, which is now called bipolar personality. I think the name manic depressive is better, it's more descriptive. And that always meant that there were emotional problems and that she could have big swings in her moods.
Marilyn was impressed with Dr. Greenson's warmth and understanding. Traditional patient-doctor boundaries soon dissolved, and Marilyn became like an extended member of the doctor's family.
She would eat at his house. Had a small house in Santa Monica with a pool. She would eat there because he wanted to show Marilyn what a normal family was like. I put the words normal in quotes, but so it was really quite simple. And he saw her at his house. He didn't see her at his office. He did everything that was possible, but I mean, he saw the real problems that were Marilyn and tried to keep her functioning.
But with just 5 days to go before cameras would roll on Something's Got to Give, producer Henry Weinstein feared that a solution to Monroe's emotional problems and chemical dependency was eluding even her psychiatrist. Weinstein was left to wonder if Marilyn could ever fully recover from what truly ailed her. 3 days after Marilyn's April 10th overdose, she attended a script meeting for Something's Got to Give. Outwardly unfazed by the events just days before, Marilyn focused her attention on the script and tried to establish a working relationship with writer Walter Bernstein.
One time I went to her house to talk about a particular scene, and she had some ideas about the scene. And it was a very cordial meeting. You know, she was very, very nice, except you also got the impression you were in the presence of Caesar. I mean, she would refer to herself sometimes in the third person. About a moment in the scene, she'd say, "Oh, no, Monroe wouldn't do this," you know. And she was very shrewd about her own image as she saw it.
With the script still incomplete, Q-Corp postponed principal photography 1 week to April 23rd. Marilyn promptly left for New York to work on her role with acting coach Lee Strasberg. By now, Marilyn had been studying with Lee and Paula Strasberg for almost 7 years. Lee Strasberg was the foremost proponent and teacher of method acting, who challenged Marilyn to become a serious dramatic actress.
To go to the actor's studio after being thought of as the glamour girl, empty-headed blonde, to go there, can you imagine what that took? And then to prepare a scene and have to go out there and do it in front of actors. Oh, I can't imagine having to do that. Where did that come from? Except you have to see this enormous need to do better.
What I'd like to do, that is what I would like to accomplish. I would like to be a good actress. And it's not a matter of being on top, because I think some of the best actors and actresses perhaps aren't on the top.
Well, it was a big coup for Marilyn to be part of the actor's studio that Lee Strasberg ran. And, I mean, she was a big star and a big personality. And for them to be known as her mentors, was important to them.
The Strasbergs opened their home to Marilyn and gave her the comfort and security of a family.
We were sharing a room on Fire Island, where we had a summer house, and I woke up early in the morning and Marilyn was standing nude watching the sun come up. And I was looking at her going, oh. And I said, Marilyn, I'd give anything to be like you. She was horrified, and she said, Susie, don't say that. I'd give anything to be like you. People respect you. So I think that what she wanted and what she got from my father was respect.
Marilyn longed for respect and credibility, and while in New York, she sought out the company of the most esteemed artists and writers in the world, including famed playwright Arthur Miller, whom she later married.
Marilyn, I think, felt she had a chance of evolving not just as an actress, but as a woman. And I have a lot of respect for that. The fact that a girl like Marilyn, from her background, was reading Rilke, was reading the poets, was making this effort. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Marilyn planned her return to the set of Something's Got to Give, energized by the week-long stay in New York. But a bad cold she caught from Lee Strasberg began weakening her health. On April 19th, Marilyn landed in Los Angeles, suffering from a serious flu. 2 days later, she was diagnosed with acute sinusitis.
I called her up and I said, Marilyn, what is the problem? She says, well, I'm running temperature, she says. I said, what's your temperature? Just a little above normal. I said, I could walk down the street and get that temperature. She said, yes, that's true, but you don't have to be in front of the camera.
Marilyn's performance depended a great deal on how she looked. And if she really wasn't looking well and had the effects of a cold, maybe you couldn't shoot her if she did come.
Throat and cold problems had resulted in costly delays on almost every one of Marilyn's films. And Weinstein worried the same would happen on Something's Got to Give.
She was easily disturbed by the pressure of work, although she worked hard. When she was depressed, her resistance dropped to infection. There's a phrase that is used by doctors called psyche and soma, which means the psychological, emotional thing, and the bodily things. They affect each other.
On Sunday, April 22nd, studio doctor Lee Siegel reported that Marilyn was too sick with the flu to work. He suggested that Something's Got to Give be postponed for at least 1 month. His recommendation was rejected.
I'm not sure they believed her, and they didn't bother to check with me.
Cukor proceeded as planned, and principal photography was still slated to begin on Monday, April 23rd. That day, 104 crew members reported to Soundstage 14, ready and eager to work.
First day was very lively and everybody was happy. You know, every time you start a picture, you're kind of up because it's something new.
Everybody was very excited about the film and very high, and the film was to start. And of course, the director said, well, I think, Sid, you'll have a couple of weeks where you're not working because we have so much to do with Marilyn and Dean. I said, well, that's fine with me. Call me when you need me.
But that first morning, Marilyn failed to show up.
The phone rings around 7:30, and they said, could you come to the studio right away? And I said, of course.
George Cukor was forced to quickly reorganize his shooting schedule. This scene with Dean Martin and Sid Charisse became the first moment of Something's Got to Give, captured on film.
All right, now we get up and go. Camera!
Here Martin's character, Nicholas Arden, returns from his honeymoon with his new bride, Bianca, played by Sid Charisse.
Well, here we are. Home sweet home.
Later, Timmy, front and center, Daddy's home.
Did you order any carpentry work done, darling?
Maybe they're hitting each other over the head. Let's go get them. Cut it, go it.
Cut. 80.
Hello, my darlings.
Hi, Daddy. Hi, Daddy.
Now, is that all you got to say?
No presents.
No present. Look, what are you two doing up there?
Building a treehouse.
Lita, what's the matter with the house? What are you doing up there?
Building a tree.